Well, hello everyone. We're going to talk about 3 ingredients of innovation. 3 ingredients of innovation. Now, when I think about innovation, I think, well, creativity and innovation are inextricably linked. You can't separate the two. Creativity and innovation are inextricably linked. But if you're anything like me, when you start thinking about creatives or who's a creative, I go to singers, songwriters, actors, musicians, dancers, painters. And whilst some of my closest friends are so gifted in those areas that they've made their entire careers in those areas, I can tell you honestly, it is not my strong suit, okay? It is not my strong suit. For example, when we go to different games, have you heard of the game Taboo? Yeah, Taboo's this talking game. Now, I'm good on your team in Taboo, all right? I can talk. However, get me playing Pictionary with you, and you do not want me on your team. I can pretty much guarantee if I'm on the opposite team, you will win. In fact, who wants a live game of Pictionary right now? Should we do a live game of Pictionary? I didn't bring my Pictionary set, but I brought a sister. She's going to tell me, I don't know what she's going to say. I've got to draw it, and you guys have to guess it, okay? I just want to show you my skills here. Okay, what am I going to draw? Oh, good. Okay, are we ready? Just call it out if you think you know what this is as I draw it. Oh, gosh. Oh, dear. It's not Moses. It's not an elephant. It's not a donkey. Whoa, whoa. Oh, it's not an elephant. Look at this. Any ideas? It's not a dinosaur. I actually don't. I'm at this point now and I don't know what to do. Like, my brain doesn't give me anything. What do you do? Do you ride these things? Tail. It's got a tail. Oh, it's got... does it have ears? And a nose? Eyes? Okay, you're not going to guess it because it's a pony. Clearly, it's a pony, right? So, needless to say, I honestly don't have the gift of being able to draw, but what happens to us then is we can easily, if we're in business or when we're in these other areas and you're choosing your master classes on those other things, and you're like, you go, well, they're creatives because they're often called creatives, and oh my gosh, they are so creative. That's an appropriate term for them. However, by default, I find myself then saying, well, I am not a creative. I'm a non-creative. And soon after, you find yourself saying things like, I'm not creative. And we start to believe that we're not creative. And do you know, if we're going to innovate in our businesses or in our churches or whatever context you're in, the first thing we need to correct is our thinking on that point. Because Genesis 1 opens with a picture of God being the creator of the entire universe. And he says in verse 26, it's like the climax of that chapter because he's created all these things in the world. And then he says, let us make man in our image. And it says, in the image of God, they created man. God created man in the likeness of God. And just as this mirror here reflects your face, or it reflects my face, we reflect the image of our Creator. And in doing so, that means inherent in our nature as a human being is the ability to create. The first ingredient of innovation is we need to know our image. Our image is the image, the reflection of the Creator. Therefore, inherent in you is the ability to create. Now, as I have demonstrated, I cannot draw very well, and my dancing skills are about on the same level as my drawing skills, okay? However, I can walk into an organization and I can see the culture. It's so obvious to me. It's so obvious to me then the strategic things that need to happen to improve that culture. And I can see creative solutions to that. That's just how my brain works. That's my perhaps creativity. I can problem solve in different ways. I can come up with how to create a message or whatever. So our creativity is going to look different, but we need to know the first ingredient is that we can all create because we're made in the image of the Creator, yeah? Ingredient 1 is the image. Okay, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, it then talks about, God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant. It says, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. He gives it to us. He gives us every seed-bearing plant and every tree, are you enjoying that? That has fruit with seed in it. So the second thing about innovation that we need to see is the seed. Because innovation always starts in seed form. But when we look at something like an apple, which is perhaps representative of your business, it's perhaps representative of your products or your team or whatever you've got. We are so focused in business on the day-to-day. We are focused on getting that, getting those products out or whatever it is. We're just focused on making sure the payroll is coming together for that week, and we're so focused on the day-to-day. And in that fruit that we've been given, there is provision for today. There's absolutely provision for today. Lawrence is enjoying the provision for today right now. We're given in that fruit, the fruit part, which is provision for today. But also in that fruit is the power to unlock innovation for tomorrow. In that same thing that I've given Lawrence, there is not only provision for today, but the power to unlock innovation for your tomorrow. But that is the part we so often just disregard. We often throw away the seed because innovation always starts in seed form. You see, if you're anything like me, you want a business that's really innovative and fruitful and like a big fruitful orchard. And as you pray for that and as you dream for that, it will be answered. Your prayer will be answered, but it will be answered in the form of a seed. You don't ever get the business given to you in one big orchard. You get it given to you in a seed. And whilst we can count how many seeds are in an apple, you cannot count how many apples are in a seed. And you see, the seed is this part. It's in this part that Lawrence has just disregarded, just thrown away. In here, actually, is the seed. Now, innovation starts with a little seed of an idea. It starts with a little idea. Maybe 2 years ago, I was on a walk. I'd been speaking at an event, and I was in Bega, the cheese capital of the world, and was on a walk waiting for a plane. I went on a boardwalk, and I was just praying and felt God say, write the book. And I said, write the book? Write the book. It's like, write the book. And I knew I had to write a book about Gen Z, which is the area I work in, and as a social researcher, and thought, write the book? And so I then started trying to write this book. And all that book, once it got written, became a key that just unlocked so much more for my tomorrow. It unlocked so much more for my business. In that one little seed of an idea, write the book, when that seed was then a piece of fruit, it has unlocked so many doors. But all it was a seed, write the book. And I could have disregarded that seed because I was pretty busy with consulting stuff and business stuff. And don't disregard the seed that is an idea in you or in one of your team members. What's already in your hand, don't disregard the seed. And the third thing is then it says in Genesis, it talks about how, and so he gives us all the beasts of the earth, all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has breath of life in it. I think the third thing we look for in innovation is breath. The breath of life. Where is their life? Where is their momentum? Where is their energy? Where is there an idea that can kind of come alive? Now, when I was writing this book, it was so boring that it was even putting me to sleep. I was like, this is like writing a university essay. It's killing me. I'm like, who's ever going to read this book? And then one day I'm praying up at on the beach at Coffs Harbour, and I just hear God say, interview the kids. I'm like, duh. Like, I'm writing a book about a generation, and maybe I should talk to them. Like, what a great idea. Hadn't thought of it myself. And so I started interviewing the kids. Well, that absolutely brought the book alive. It brought the whole project alive. There was so much life in this thing. I became so passionate about it because I'm talking about young people and their lives, and that then opened up all these doors for a newspaper did a double-page spread on the book before it was even printed. They, Channel 7, Channel 10, The Project, The Drum on ABC, all opened up. Why? Breath. The breath of life was all over this idea that was breathed from heaven. And so let's look. Let's remember that we are made in the image of the Creator. Image is your first. Know your image, which is the reflection of the Creator. Look for the seed. Don't disregard the seed, the idea. It always comes in seed form. And look for where there's the breath of life. And go ahead and innovate. Thank you.